Hey everyone, I'm Julie. I'm not used to being on camera, but I am really excited to share a little bit about what I do. I illustrate for children, and that's pretty recent for me. I've been an artist for a long time, but illustration is pretty new, and I'm really excited about it. So I work usually digitally. I decided to go into illustration because it lets me share my work in a much wider way. I did mixed media for a long time, which I really love, but it's very different for me. And I don't think it's as possible to get it out to as many people, or at least it feels that way to me. So my creative process really involves keeping the channel open, which is, to me, it means kind of doing the things that make it so that spiritually, emotionally, physically, I'm in a place where I can receive the inspiration from the universe, if you will, the grand mystery, whatever you like to call it. Um, I really the process for me is largely about keeping the channel open, and it is about showing up and being there and consistently drawing and as much as you can, every day, just engaging with the work, because the more I do, the more inspiration I have for myself. So the thing that makes me happiest when I am working is feeling that connection to sort of the greater mystery, my ancestors. When I'm really in a flow state and I can feel all of these things coming together, it's absolutely amazing. Um, so that makes me really happy and feeling like, I don't know, to me it's a form of magic. Bringing all these things together and sending it out into the world with a certain energy as you make it, and knowing and hoping that it will maybe affect someone in some way, so maybe even a major way. I've seen it happen with my work a few times, and it is absolutely incredible. There's really nothing like it. From a just technical standpoint, I also really enjoy the challenge of just getting something exactly right, getting exactly the right line, the right shade, seeing something in your head and seeing it come to life on the page just how you want it, and working to get it that way is very satisfying for me. As for inspiration, I find inspiration in a lot of places. I mean, for me, it's very much about the human connection, the relationships we have with each other, our relationship to our ancestors, our relationships that with folks we have yet to meet. um, yeah, for me, it's all about the people. I got some feedback on my work a while ago, and it was a really wonderful gift. It was someone suggested that my work was a lot like folk art, and they suggested that I take a look at more folk art as I'm, developing my practice. And I thought, wow, that's great. I'd never thought of that. But for me, it is about the folks. So um, it makes a lot of sense. So I am inspired by stories from my past, from stories about my parents and my grandparents and my great grandparents. I'm inspired by the interactions I have with people every day. I'm inspired by the belief that art can change things. Artists have been doing this for centuries. Artists have been way ahead of the scientists. Science fiction writers have been ahead of the scientists. Visual artists have been ahead. Um, I think art can really change things a lot. And so, in addition to all the people around me and the things that I experience, and the relationships that I have with folks, I think the belief that if you put things out with a certain intention, and if, you put it out with good faith, I think, all of those things, the work that you do, the good work that you do, people doing healing work, creative work, I think it really can change the world. Honestly, I do. Um, so yeah, that's pretty motivating. And to me, images are incredibly powerful, especially, if you are not someone who got to see yourself in images growing up. Not always, sometimes. I do think when I was working in mixed media, which involved a lot of supplies and materials and time and space, both mentally and sort of physically, time and space. It was harder. It was definitely deep. It was a lot of art therapy. I did a lot of processing. Um, and the work, did speak to people. And I did sell some paintings, and, people really did resonate with it. And I did too, but it had a weight to it. Whether that's actually, it was a both emotional weight and sort of weight in terms of stuff and time and space and practical logistical concerns. For me, illustration, although I'm working very hard at it and working really hard to get better, it is much easier in a way. I don't know if easy is the word, but I think, based on the question, yeah, I'll say it's easy. I was very lucky to have gotten an iPad, which has completely revolutionized how I work. It's made my work shareable. It's made it faster. It has made it so that I can do more work that I like the look of in a shorter amount of time. So that has been amazing and such a great gift. I'm very fortunate to have gotten one. So yeah, that is easy. And I realized a while back that I don't want my work in a gallery. I don't necessarily just want my work to hang on someone's wall in a private home. I really, I want my work to be out there to as many people as possible. I want it to be in children's books. I want it to be in magazines. I want it to be where, just your everyday person, will encounter it, because I've been profoundly changed by the everyday art that I've encountered. So yeah, I think illustration is easier. There's a lightness to it. The mixed media feels a lot like working through things from the past, and the illustration to me feels a lot like manifesting things in the future. Well, I mean, for me, it's tough because, well, for all of us, right? Um, I'm never as good as I want to be. I can't always make it like it looks in my head. Sometimes I can. I really work hard at it. The stamina to just spend tons and tons of time on something and keep working at it, even when you're so tired of it or it looks like a mess or you're like, I'm never going to finish. Um, that can be hard. Fortunately, I haven't been creatively blocked in a while, but when you are, that's really difficult. That feels, man, this folks I've talked to who have been in that spot, and I think every creative person has at some point or another, it feels like a huge part of yourself is gone and you won't get it back. And, I reassure myself and I try to reassure, the friends that I have, the folks around me when they're feeling creatively blocked. It always comes back. It's in you. Your artistic ability, the way you see the world, you're always an artist, whether you're able to make any art or not. Kind of keeping that faith, for me, if I keep the channel open, the inspiration keeps coming, but it's not always easy to keep the channel open, so I work at it, I've had a lot of help creating what I create in terms of support. I was lucky to be gifted that iPad. That was amazing. It has literally changed everything about my artistic practice, so that was huge. My partner has a beautiful eye and really a great attention to detail. So a lot of times I will ask them, what do you think of this, or particularly about the composition, which is something I'm still working on. It's not my easiest thing art wise, and they always have something really cool to say and something I hadn't considered, and it always really improves quite a lot on whatever idea I've got. So yes, I definitely have some help and support. As for can I express things only with words? No, I definitely can't. I think words are really important. I'm a very verbal person. I like to talk to folks. I really value great conversation. But I think for me, the way I work is there are so many things in a single image. I mean, one image that I'm thinking of that resonated with a lot of people um, is my community dance piece. And in that was it was sort of these composite portraits of all these different people, um, people that I love that have passed, people that I know now, people who I admire. So none of them was a direct portrait of a person, but all of the characters in this piece were inspired by a whole number of different people and how I feel about them, and kind of all the love and intention that I found with them and around them. So yeah, I don't think you can just express that in words only. In fact, it's kind of hard to even talk about it in words because I felt so much when I was making it. And I think when people responded well to it, that is what they were responding to. This has been really cool. Please check me out at Julie Murphy Draws. And yeah, anyway, I'm really glad to have been a part of this, and take care. Bye.